In a world where success seems synonymous with invincibility, reality often surprises us. Being at the pinnacle of wealth and influence doesn't guarantee immunity from the unpredictable twists of fate. From towering empires to billion-dollar fortunes, the stories of those who soared only to plummet are as riveting as they are cautionary. But what happens when the sky-high dreams shatter? When the bottom falls out from under the wealthiest among us? What choices are made when the safety net vanishes and the world watches as titans teeter on the brink of ruin? From tech moguls like Elizabeth Holmes and Donald Trump to industry titans like Björgolfur Gudmundsson and Yasumitsu Shigeta, these individuals have experienced the highs of success and the lows of adversity. And today's video is all about it. Let's begin with number 11, Patricia Kluge. Once living the grandeur of high society, Patricia Kluge's life took a drastic turn during the housing market crisis of 2008. She was a former heiress and model who met her second husband, John W. Kluge, in New York City. He was once ranked as Forbes' richest man in the US with a staggering $5 billion fortune. Their marriage in 1981 granted Patricia a substantial settlement after their divorce 9 years later. $1 million annually, and their lavish Albemarle estate in Virginia. With aspirations to turn her estate into a thriving business, Kluge launched the Kluge Estate Winery and Vineyard on a vast 960-acre plot near Albemarle alongside her third husband, William Bill Moses. Initially, the winery saw success as its wines gained popularity among social elites and even graced the tables of notable figures like Chelsea Clinton's wedding. However, Kluge's fortunes took a sharp downturn due to poor investments and significant spending on her estate right before the housing market crash. In 2011, her Albemarle winery was seized by Bank of America and purchased by Donald Trump for a fraction of its value. Desperate to stave off bankruptcy, Kluge auctioned off her fine jewelry and other assets, but it wasn't enough. She ultimately filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in June 2011, marking a dramatic downfall from her once glamorous lifestyle. Number 10. Vijay Mallya. Vijay Mallya, a former billionaire, once commanded attention as a prominent liquor tycoon, celebrated for his lavish parties and extravagant lifestyle. Alongside his liquor empire, he ventured into the aviation industry, founding the now-defunct Kingfisher Airlines. However, Mallya's fortunes began to unravel in 2012, when it surfaced that he had accumulated substantial debts while trying to sustain his airline business. As he defaulted on payments, Indian banks to which he owed money pursued him relentlessly. Utilizing a diplomatic passport acquired through his position in the upper house of parliament, Mallya fled from India to the UK, evading legal repercussions. Despite efforts by the Indian government and banks to extradite him, Mallya remains in the UK. Accused of bank fraud and money laundering totaling an estimated 90 billion rupees, approximately $1.3 billion, Mallya's net worth plummeted following a bankruptcy petition that recovered £1.145 billion in owed funds. Yet substantial debts still linger, awaiting repayment, casting a shadow over his once gilded reputation. Featuring next on the list is number 9, Sean Quinn. Sean Quinn, once hailed as Ireland's wealthiest individual, encountered a stark reversal of fortune due to ill-fated investments in an Irish bank. With ventures spanning plastic, glass, and hotel industries, Quinn amassed substantial wealth, including a significant 25% stake in Anglo-Irish Bank. However, the bank's collapse during the 2008 financial crisis led to a cascade of legal woes between the Quinn family and the government. Despite his prior affluence, Quinn's financial empire crumbled, necessitating the surrender of the majority of his $2.8 billion fortune. Angered creditors, including the Irish Bank Resolution Corp., which absorbed Anglo-Irish Bank, pursued Quinn aggressively, citing debts exceeding €2 billion. In a desperate attempt to shield assets from repossession, Quinn was charged with contempt of court, accused of concealing property assets. His declaration of bankruptcy in November 2011, claiming assets below £50,000, underscored the precipitous fall from opulence to insolvency. The aftermath of Quinn's financial collapse reverberated in September 2019, when Kevin Lunny, a director of Quinn Industrial Holdings and close associate of Quinn, was abducted and assaulted, underscoring the enduring animosity towards Quinn and his legacy. The next entry on the list is infamously popular. Number 8. Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff's name has become synonymous with deception on a monumental scale. He orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in history, leaving a trail of devastation as he swindled an estimated $17.5 billion from unsuspecting investors. The magnitude of his deceit is staggering, with trustees managing to recoup $13 billion of the ill-gotten gains. Madoff's reign of fraud came to a crashing halt when he was sentenced to 150 years in federal prison, cementing his legacy as one of the most notorious fraudsters of all time. In a final bid for freedom, he sought compassionate release in early 2020, citing terminal kidney failure. However, his plea fell on deaf ears, and he passed away the following year, serving out his sentence until the end. Coming in at number 7 is Alan Stanford. Alan Stanford may not have achieved the same level of infamy as Bernie Madoff, but his methods were eerily similar. Like Madoff, Stanford's Ponzi scheme preyed on unsuspecting investors, duping approximately 18,000 individuals, many of whom were retirees out of their hard-earned savings. The scheme raked in over $7 billion before collapsing under the weight of its deceit. Stanford's net worth, once substantial, plummeted to zero as the extent of his deception became clear. He was handed a 110-year prison sentence for his pivotal role in the scheme, a stark reminder of the consequences of financial fraud. Unlike the situation with Madoff, however, few of Stanford's victims have seen any semblance of restitution, highlighting the enduring impact of his actions on those whose trust he betrayed. Moving forward, we have number 6, Ike Batista. Ike Batista, once hailed as Brazil's beacon of prosperity, saw his fortunes plummet amidst a series of setbacks. As the 7th wealthiest individual globally, Batista symbolized the country's thriving economy in 2012, primarily due to his oil ventures. However, trouble brewed when his oil company OGX failed to deliver on promised production, prompting investors to withdraw their support. With Brazil's economy faltering, Batista's financial empire crumbled, forcing him to declare bankruptcy. Amidst the turmoil, allegations of corruption surfaced, implicating Batista in a kickback scandal that ensnared some of Brazil's most influential figures. Accused of money laundering, Batista faced the brunt of legal repercussions. He was ultimately sentenced to 30 years in prison for his involvement in corruption and money laundering schemes. His legal woes compounded in 2019, when he received an additional 8-year sentence for market manipulation, further sealing his fate. Next on the list is number 5, Jocelyn Wildenstein. Jocelyn Wildenstein, once adorned with immense wealth, has encountered a stark reversal of fortune, as reported by Money magazine. In a dramatic turn of events, the socialite and former spouse of the late billionaire art dealer Alec Wildenstein filed for federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in May 2018. According to the New York Post, Wildenstein disclosed in the filing that her monthly income amounted to a meager $0, relying solely on $900 Social Security payments and support from her circle of friends and family to make ends meet. She attributed much of her financial distress to a flawed divorce settlement, lamenting the depletion of the $2.5 billion she received as part of the agreement. Wildenstein recounted to the New York Post that despite the substantial settlement, she believed she was entitled to more. However, her financial woes were compounded by the discovery that 2 paintings allocated to her in the settlement were not as valuable as initially presumed. One artwork, purportedly by Diego Velázquez, turned out to be a forgery, while another by Paul Cézanne fetched a fraction of its appraised value upon sale. Expressing her determination to rectify the situation, The former billionaire expressed her quest for a top lawyer to advocate for her entitlements and secure what she believes she deserves for her lifetime, as highlighted in her interview with the New York Post in May 2018. Coming up next is number 4, Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, once hailed as a rising star in Silicon Valley, embarked on a journey to revolutionize the healthcare industry with her blood testing startup Theranos. Founded in the early 2000s, Theranos garnered significant attention and investment, raising approximately $6 million from private investors by the end of 2004. Notably, some investors had strong personal connections to Holmes, fueling initial optimism about the company's potential. However, as Theranos gained prominence, concerns arose regarding its practices and adherence to regulations. In 2012, after Holmes attempted to secure a test run in the military, Lieutenant Colonel David Shoemaker raised his concerns with the Food and Drug Administration (FDA), triggering an investigation. Subsequent inspections by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services (CMS) revealed that Theranos' device was still in development, casting doubt on its capabilities. Despite obtaining FDA approval for one of its tests, Theranos faced mounting scrutiny from news outlets and regulatory agencies. By November 2015, the company lost major partnerships with Safeway and Walgreens. In 2016, CMS concluded that Theranos' testing posed potential safety risks for patients, further tarnishing its reputation. Amidst lawsuits, layoffs, and federal allegations of massive fraud, Theranos ceased operations in September 2018, narrowly avoiding bankruptcy. Holmes relinquished control of the company and settled charges with the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) by paying a $500,000 fine. Facing separate charges from the Department of Justice, Holmes and her ex-partner Sunny Balwani were accused of wire fraud. Their trial was scheduled to commence in August 2020. Forbes listed Holmes' personal net worth at $0, reflecting the dramatic downfall of a once promising entrepreneur whose ambitions were overshadowed by allegations of deceit and misconduct. Next, we have number 3, Björgufur Gudmundsson. Björgufur Gudmundsson, an Icelandic tycoon who amassed his wealth in the brewing industry and later served as the owner of the UK football team West Ham, faced a dramatic downfall in 2009 when he filed for bankruptcy. At his peak, Gudmundsson was the second richest individual in Iceland, but his financial empire crumbled under the weight of a staggering $759 million debt. The magnitude of Gudmundsson's bankruptcy filing was unprecedented in Icelandic history, marking a significant chapter in the country's economic turmoil during the recession. Much of his financial demise stemmed from the collapse of the Icelandic bank Landsbanki in October 2008, in which Gudmundsson and his son Björgufur Thor Gudmundsson were major shareholders. Forbes revised Gudmundsson's net worth from $1.2 billion to $0 following his bankruptcy declaration in December 2008. His son also experienced a decline in wealth, eventually dropping off the Forbes list entirely. However, Thor Gudmundsson managed to stage a remarkable comeback, reclaiming a substantial portion of his wealth in subsequent years. Next on the list is number 2, Yasumitsu Shigeta. Yasumitsu Shigeta, chairman of Tokyo-listed Hikari Tsushin, is known for his involvement in the mobile phone industry. Hikari Tsushin operates the HIT shop chain of stores, specializing in mobile phone sales, along with offering insurance and office equipment. Shigeta founded Hikari Tsushin in 1988, establishing a presence in the rapidly evolving telecommunications market. However, Shigeta faced significant challenges when the dot-com crash occurred in 2001, resulting in a substantial loss of his wealth. The crash impacted Hikari Tsushin's operations and led to a downturn in the company's fortunes. Despite the setback, Shigeta demonstrated resilience and determination. By 2005, shares of Hikari Tsushin rebounded, propelling Shigeta back onto the Forbes World Billionaires list. Number 1 on the list is former US President Donald Trump. Yeah, you heard it right.
I have never gone bankrupt.
President Donald Trump, while never personally declaring bankruptcy, has had 6 of his companies file for bankruptcy protections. Notably, Trump's Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City filed for bankruptcy in 1991, followed by 2 other Trump casinos and the Plaza Hotel in New York. Additionally, Trump Hotels and Casinos Resorts filed for bankruptcy in 2004, accruing $1.8 billion in debt, and Trump Entertainment Resorts filed for bankruptcy in 2009. Despite his company's bankruptcy filings, Trump defended his business practices during a 2016 Republican presidential debate, emphasizing his use of the laws of this country to navigate financial challenges and protect his company, employees, and family. Ouch! That wraps up our look at billionaires who faced rough patches. Even the wealthiest can hit bumps in the road. Thanks for tuning in.